Alright guys, welcome to this episode on ThinkorSwim for beginners. When you open up your ThinkorSwim, this is what it looks like. It's a clean slate. It's designed so you can customize it any way you want. You can do anything and everything you can ever think of. It's designed for you to make it as comfortable as you like. So we're going to start with the basics and kind of work our way around everything. So you can see you got yourself a little window here on the left hand side. We're going to shut this down for 1 minute. We're going to come back to it in a few seconds. We're going to close that up, and this is what you're going to start with. And on the tabs, we're going to go to trade, because trading is where everything starts. And then you go to active trader. Alright, so this is your clean slate right here. What you have in front of you is practically on the right hand side, you'll see two windows. You can make this into one window. You can make this into 100 windows. Whatever it is that you want to make it, you can make it as big or as small as you like. Okay, for right now we're just going to do it with one window, because once you get the basics of the first one, then you can just add more to them later. On the right hand side, it will tell you all the things you can do. We're going to remove something here. So right now you have charts. If I remove charts, it'll be clean slate. So you can have a chart, you can remove the chart, you can do an active trade where you can buy and sell. You can have time and sells. We can see that next to it. You can have news. So you can customize this any way you want. You can move them. You can spread them. It's just as designed for you to practically be comfortable with it. Okay. We're gonna remove this for a second. We're gonna go to charts, and this is what your chart. Oh, got rid of the news as well. So charts is where you're gonna start with. Okay. This is just the basics of what it will look like. If you want to change how the colors look, you go to Style and Settings. Okay. Then you go to Appearance. And under Appearance, you can change it any way you want. You can make it to where, see how the green candles are not filled? You can fill them if you like. You can unfill the red ones. You can change the colors by clicking on it and make them different colors. It just is designed for you. Also, let's see, you have like a gray background. If you say you don't want that, you can get rid of the grids, and you can change the background to black if you want. See how everything is just showing you what it's going to look like? You hit apply, and then everything starts to look so you can see what the changes you're making. This back here is the volume bar. You can, if for some reason, let's say that you don't want that back there, it's kind of broken up into like Forex, show volume graph. You can click on that, futures, remove that, options, remove that, equity, remove that. Once you get rid of those four right there, it will remove those blue volume bars, but there's ways you can add it to another area, which I'll show you. And just hit apply, and that cleans out your chart. So that way you have a nice clean slate of what you're looking for. Okay. Once you have everything you like the way it is, let's say you want just to keep it as charts, then you go up to the little square, and you say you can go ahead and make this side thing disappear. Okay, if you want it back, if you want to add something to it, just click it again, and you can add the news underneath it. And just whatever it's easy for you. You can remove it. Let's say you're already done with it. You click it back again. Alright, so now we're going to add some strategies. So let's say on the bottom, these are all your strategies that are available. The ThinkorSwim comes with it. You can also download an extra ones if you want from different locations. We have a lot of them in our website. But let's say, for example, you want to have a MACD. Then you just hit, there's a MACD right there. Click it. Let's get rid of that one extra one there, and hit apply, and you get yourself a MACD. If you want to customize the MACD, let's say you don't like those lines, you click on that. You can pick any color you want. You say you don't want it to be the blue line, you want it to be green. And see how it shows you on the side the bubbles? You say, well, I don't want that on the side. Okay, remove bubble, remove title, and that will remove from the side. If you remove plot, then you'll get rid of the whole line. So if you want to keep the line, then you need to show the plot itself. And then you go to the next one, which is the cream color. And you say, I don't want cream, I want red. Like, okay, we hit red, hit apply, get rid of the show bubbles, and then we'll get rid of the red one on the side. You just work your way down, whichever you want. If you don't want the, whatever you desire, just kind of click through them and figure out what you want. Once you see what you like, you hit apply, and the changes will happen. You can have as many of these strategies in here as you want until the screen gets too small. Let's say you want to add the TTM wave. Let's just say add TTM wave. Hit apply. Now you get yourself a TTM wave. Sometimes you're going to find that to save on space, you can combine them. So let's say you want to, I wouldn't put these two together, but to save on time, if you want to grab it and just drag it on top of it, you have both in the same square. And by doing that, you'll end up putting them both together. Because some strategies work really good together. If you don't want them, then just X them out, hit apply, and they're gone. Okay. Now let's say you wanted to add another square. You hit up here, and you can do one on the bottom. You can do it instead on the side. Just whatever you like. And to link them, you just say what there are. Like let's say you want to say, okay, I want to link these two as one. So this one and this one will be one. So whatever you see here, you'll see here. And everywhere you go, you can link it as one or two or three, whichever you choose. And then you can keep linking them together. So you have to keep changing every square to what stock you're looking at. And they say, well, I want more than this. I'm like, okay, hit it. Show sidebar. And you say, I want to add the news. I want to add times thing. You can customize any way you like. And then you say, okay, I'm done. Remove the sidebar. And there you go. You got yourself now a trading ability. Okay. If you want to do some trades, just click on it. And there's different ways of buying. You can buy by clicking buy market, or you can hit on the green. Like if you, let's say you want to chase this down. If you hit, for example, buy market right now, it will buy at where the stock would be. So let's say the stock is $1.34. You hit buy market. It's going to go between $1.34 and what the ask is. Somewhere in here in between these two, it will purchase for you. And a lot of times if the spread is kind of wide, it can kind of hurt you. Or you can just go ahead and click on the green area right now, right here, and if the market decides to go right past that, it will grab it for you. So if you don't want to pay $1.37, you want to wait until it comes down to $1.35 or $1.34, you just click right here and it will put the order in for you. And then we'll sit there and wait until it gets filled. Okay, since this is just simulation, I'll just click it. You say, yep, you want it. And you can also say save this information so you don't have to keep opening this box constantly. And say send. And then the order will be right there showing you that it's waiting for that stock to come down. And if for some reason, let's say it's getting away from you, you can just grab it, hold the left mouse and just lift it up and kind of drag it and drop it wherever you want to drop it. So that way it will save you on time. That one usually not supposed to do that. It will. You say send, but I don't want to buy that. If you change your mind, you can exit from here or exit on the chart. And it's gone. That way you don't have to purchase that if you don't like. Okay. So this is the basics right here. Now, it gives you a lot more options in this. For example, let's just say you want to have a bigger screen to work with, but you also need the basics of what you're doing here. You can go ahead you're still under trading, but you have more tabs. So you can have as many multiple charts running at the same time. So right now, this is the basics fundamentals they gave you. You don't want this. You go up here, say you only want one chart. You're going to link it to number one because you want it to be the same thing as you're showing over here. And you say, well, I don't want dashboard, I don't want trade, I want charts. And on the chart, you'll do the same exact thing. You can set it up any way you want. You can go to hit the little what do you call that thing for the scientist thing? And we'll add some Ichimoku to this to make it look cool. Hit apply. And we'll add some MACDs. And we'll add some TTM squeeze. There we go. So now you got to see what it looks like. If you wanted to change those bars to colors, then you'll go to the same place that you did last time. You go to Style, Settings, Appearance, and then you don't want it to be blue, you want it to be in color. So you hit Color and hit OK or Apply, and that will change it to color if you want. If you don't want them, or if you want them to just disappear, or you can even, it will just make it disappear right now. Just go up here and you make it all disappear. Future, unclick, Options, unclick. As long equity is on, it will stay there. Okay, we're just going to leave it on for right now because you know if you uncheck it, it will disappear. If you go to General, you can do what's called Overlap Volume. By clicking Overlap Volume, what you're going to do is, instead of being down here, it will come up into your charts. I'll move this over so you can see it. Now you can see it's in there. If you want it to be, there's too much color for you, then you go back to Appearance and say you don't want color, you want it to be blue. Then go back to blue. Okay, so that's your basics of how that part works. All right, so you're sitting in your chart. Now, how do you switch from time frame to time frame? Right here where it says D, you have all your time frames. So you go from 1 minute chart to down here. You can zoom in and zoom out. You can click and have see how my mouse moves around. You can see the crosshairs. You can say you only want horizontal crosshair. You can say you want anything you want. You can just tell it. And when you want to draw, you draw on the little arrow here, and then you can draw things. You can be like make a line. You can do your Fibonacci retracements. Go here to here. All your tools are right down here, so you can apply them. If you don't want it, if you made a mistake, just right-click on it and say Remove Drawing. Right-click, Remove Drawing, and that will make things disappear for you. Alright, so let's say you have this set up the way you like it. You can save it so that we can always come back to it later. So then you go to Style, Save Style, and you can call it anything you want, like ABC, name it whatever you want, and then save it. Okay, that way, for example, let's say you play with other indicators and all of a sudden you just came back to where you don't have anything, and you're looking at this, you'll be like, oh, what was that setup that I liked? Just go to Styles, Load, ABC, and you bring everything right back to the way you had it. So we can save multiple trading styles that you might like. Okay. Alright, so you got the hand. If you pick the hand, it will allow you to also minimize or make the chart bigger for you. Okay. Also, you can grab it and move it any way you want. Kind of gives you like the ability to just move the chart around if you need to. If you click on the arrow, then you can zoom in. Instead of saying you want to go to a time or smaller time frame, let's say you're at the 1 hour, let's say, and you want to zoom in, then you just left click, hit that area that you want to see, and let go, and it'll bring it down. It will zoom in a lot faster for you, or closer. Those are options you have that you can use. Everything else in here is just pretty much just kind of mess with it. So what do we have up here? This one you already know. This is where you can add your strategies. This wheel is the same thing as when we were clicking earlier where you hit settings. Instead of going through settings, you can just click the wheel and it takes you right into the settings. Under general, if you want to see your orders as you buy them or as you put in your show your trades, it will have like little green flags and what price you bought something. If you don't want to see them, you just uncheck them. Okay. Price access. Most of these you're not going to mess with. Time access, this you will. This expansion. Let's say, for example, let me go back out here. Let's say we're going to zoom out. And let's say you have something like this where you have this huge gap on the right hand side and you're like, man, I don't want that big, huge gap. Then what happens, you go to time axis, and what it's telling you is giving you 94 bars on the right hand side. So if you want to shrink that down, you can bring it to 0 or 10. You can backspace and make it 5. And when you hit apply, watch how this will move itself all the way to the right. So that way you kind of correct yourself. Because sometimes we do it unintentionally. When we're moving things around, you might be trying to look at something and you might grab it and drag it and you're like, oh man, I just moved that thing and now it's going to be like that forever. No, just go in there, settings, timeshare. We did 149 bars on that one. Zero it. I should do about 5, so that way it's not so far. All right, go back in there. Then you have your. All right, this one is a good one. This is your where you get to choose what time frame you want to be in. The 1 minute, 5 minutes. You can specify. Let's say on the 1 minute, it'll give you a 3-day 1 minute. Okay, for example, if I go over here, go to 1 minute, it will show me 3 days. But let's say I want to make it bigger than that. Then I go. Oh, what was I? Up here, time frame. Go to 1 minute, 3 days, and say edit. And you can tell it that you want it to make it 10 days instead. Hit apply, hit OK. And now it won't do it automatically. You have to go back in there, and now you have to tell it, because it's still sitting on the 1 minute, 3 days, say 1 minute, 10 days. And now you just made it bigger where you can scroll and see more if you want. You can also go back in there. Instead of going through there, through what we just went through, you can just hit customize underneath the time thing. And you can add time frames. Let's say the 15 minutes wasn't there. If you don't want that one, you can just delete it. If you want to add it, you can just say that you want to add some more, and you can just keep, add a time frame, tell it what you want, and save it, and that will give you everything you need. All right, so let's see. We gotta get rid of this thing on the side. Now let's work on this section right here. This is where you have your watch list. You can change these out. You can make it the news here, or you can turn the news, down here. It's kind of like you can pick the areas that you want with it. If you, if let's say you see a news that you like, if you click on it, it will open up the explanation of what's going on in there, so you can read on it. That gives you some options of finding out more information about that stock. If when news comes out, they date it. This one came out at 549. So it just kind of gives you ideas. If you, let's say you don't want something in here, you can click on it and you can just say delete the gadget. It'll disappear. If you want to separate, if you have like a multiple monitors, you can click on it and say detach gadget, and this will give you that particular window, so you can move it to another monitor, so you don't have to have it here on the side if you don't want to. Okay. Also at the same time, you can link this to whatever, like for example, I'm going to link it to 1, so that way if I have any type of stock or trades in there, as soon as I click on it, it will automatically bring it to my viewing, so I don't have to kind of grab it, drag it, or go in here and type every single thing. I just go ahead and just drop it in there. How do you make one of these? Let's say for example, let's get rid of this other one here. Delete it. Let's try delete this time. If I want to add a new one, I'm going to click on the plus sign. And here's going to give you all these options of things you can do to it. If you want to add a watch list, which is what this, no, that's not it, that's the news. Hit a watch list, it will open up a watch list for you. And then you can go in there, click on select watch list, and you can make your own ones. But for right now, I'm just going to grab one of the public ones in here. Let's just do that. All right, so if I click on them, nothing's going to happen because I never linked it. So when I link it to number 1, which happens to be what these are, as soon as I click any of these will change with it as well. Okay, you can make this window as big as small as you want, up to a certain amount here. Let me grab it. You can go as big as you want. You can make it as small as you want. That's about as small as you're going to make it right there. And if when you don't want to see it, let's say you want to hide it. Let's say you find a stock that you like, just click on the little arrow, it will hide it for you. You want to come grab it, click on the arrow, opens up for you. Okay, so this is how you add and subtract things. You can also hit the little wheel, customize it, and it will give you a breakdown of everything that you're seeing in here. So let's say you don't want to have the ask and the bid. You want to get rid of those, just double click them, remove them. And let's say I want to add volume. So you can just scroll down to volume or start typing, so it kind of cuts down on finding it. And we add some volume. Let's say I don't want net change, I want something else. Get rid of this. Let's see, we'll do average trades and hit OK. And what you're going to see, all these up here are going to change. It'll become whatever you want it to become. And you can kind of make it as big or small as you want. Change things around, move it around. I'm having trouble with my mouse right now. There it goes. You can also make your own watch list. So if you go in, let me show you that again. I'm sorry. Go back in here and you click on where the stock would have been that you're watching. and you say create watch list. You can call it anything you want. I don't know, we'll call it cat and save it. And this will become your watch list. So technically, let's say you like this particular stock, you can grab it and throw it in there, and it will hold it for you. You can see, let's say you let some other stocks that you like to watch, just type it in, and it will grab onto it, and you gotta make sure you do the same thing. If the window is too small, you're not going to be able to put that as a 1. So sometimes you have to expand this, mark it, and then you can kind of, man, what's up with my mouse today? Right there. All right, now what else can you do up here? Let's say this is how much money you have in your account, but let's say, for example, you don't do options. You don't really care about that. Then just go in there, customize the gadgets, and you can add and subtract anything that you don't want in there. Just remove them, add them, and that will kind of customize this little section. As soon as you close this, because this gives you all your information, it will switch from here to up here. So let's say you have too much stuff up here that you don't want it to see. You just hit on this section up here, and you can do the same thing. Customize it any way you want, so that way it shows only what you want to see.